It's a football show. I am Sam Heflin, and it's windy outside. Can't do anything with it. Just gonna roll, baby. To my immediate right is one Justin Throngard, and to his immediate right is Shaun Whitney.
Good evening.
Got a big show. Playoffs are starting. It's very exciting. It's a fevered frenzy.
Playoffs are the big time.
They are the big time.
Everybody's
Separates-
0-0.
Separates the men from the boys.
That's right.
First topic.
The Cowboys.
This is one of those that gets thrown around there all the time that I don't agree with because it's just the way it is. And I think sometimes, even though it's not fair, it's the way it is. Patriots, 11-5, don't make it. That's just the way it is.
I don't know how I feel about it.
Because the Chargers won their division.
I don't think that it's not unfair and it's not right at the same time. It's just kind of incredible. But at the same time, you know what? It's New England. Screw those guys.
Yeah.
You know, but that's just the way it is. I mean, it's just the way it is when an 8-8 team make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's
It's
what
the
happened.
same thing.
An 8-8 team made the playoffs and an 11-5 team missed the playoffs.
I mean, it's not fair, but you have to win your division. That's the key.
Yeah.
You don't go for being a wild card. That's not where you want to be. That's the goal, is to win your division. Whether, for instance, the Colts lose in their first game or win and then lose, if they lose at all, they get nothing for being a wild card. They get nothing to show for it. Mm-hmm. You're your division winner, you at least get a trophy.
Won the division.
That's
yes.
right.
Yeah.
And where at the same time, though, the Colts went out there and got it done. When they knew that there wasn't really, mathematically there was some chances there, but they kind of knew that they were just going to have to go out and be one of the best teams in the NFL to get a wild card. Mm-hmm. And they went out there and beat all of those teams. And that's where the Patriots, they can be sad that they won 11 games and didn't go to the playoffs, but they also didn't beat the two teams that got the wild card. They lost to the Ravens and they lost to the Colts, and that's what happens. Nice record, good show, no Tom Brady, whatever. I think they would have won one more game with Tom Brady. Probably would have made the playoffs, though.
Right.
The
They
one
probably
game
would have made the playoffs with Tom Brady.
The one game would have made the playoffs, but I think I think that was the difference between no Tom Brady and Tom Brady was one game.
Yeah, it's nice to see that, because as much as we bag on Bill Belichick, he basically proved this season that he is the New England Patriots, that it's not Tom Brady. So,
plug a guy in. Matt Castle did great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And I'd like to thank the Jets for kind of making me a liar, but I think on the conviction side at the beginning of the season through the part where it got to the point where it just looked like there was no way they wouldn't make the playoffs, I was kind of like, okay, fine, they're going to make the playoffs, but I was right about those guys.
Got a little dicey halfway through the season with the Jets,
Yeah, they were. They
didn't look like they
hang
could be
around.
beat. They were 8-3, 8-3, and then they lost the rest of them.
They lost to the. I think where it was is that the Broncos beat them, and then people were like, "Wait a second,
Oh, you
hold
can
on
beat
here."
these guys.
Yeah, they beat the Titans, which they made the Titans look very beatable to me, even though afterwards no one managed to do it. The Steelers looked foolish playing them.
Yeah.
But
it's I don't know if it's too bad about the Jets, but there sure is a lot of talk in the town about Brett Favre. He's not a popular man in New York right now. Basically, everybody on that team has come out and said it's his fault.
it's not his. Did he play defense for him?
No.
No.
Yeah. What did the Dolphins score on him? 30.
Yeah, 30
31.
points.
31 points. He wasn't playing linebacker. And that was the team that was supposed to stop the run because they were third at one point. Mm-hmm. When they were doing well, they were third in rush defense.
Yeah.
And
they played a predictable offense, a predictable rushing offense.
Yeah.
Couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Blame Brett Favre. It's his fault,
because he plays line. And
He plays
linebacker.
line, and he's
And
the
safety
He's
and
the,
cornerback.
he's the defensive coordinator too, is
Yeah.
what I heard.
Yeah.
It's too bad. It's too bad for Brett.
Yeah, but I think they'll probably why they got him. It wasn't a 1-year thing. They got him for 2 years. They got him to try and fix what they thought was broken, which ultimately was the only thing not broken. Because I think with Pennington, they're in the playoffs. Because apparently with the Dolphins with Pennington are in the playoffs. They got him to be the mentor of the guy that they're going to draft this year. They wedged themselves into drafting a quarterback this year no matter what. So they're going to have to. And they're going to have to keep him around for another season to see what he can do with that quarterback.
Yeah. Depending on what he decides to do. I mean, with as much, I guess, predicting what Brett Favre is going to do is nigh impossible. You know, you can't say, oh, he's done. He's done for the year. Because he's duped us twice now on being done for the year. But do you want to play for somebody that's going to treat you like that, you know?
No.
That's going to throw you under the bus, and it's your teammates when you're the quarterback?
And not to mention, who's going to be the coach next year?
Yeah. Are they even going to play Brett Favre next year if he's on the
let's
team?
say they fired Mangini. Mangini didn't give Pennington the axe. He didn't hire Brett Favre. That was the GM.
Yeah.
The thing that's wrong with the Jets is their GM. And he's making more moves to make the Jets worse.
Yeah.
Mangini is a good coach, and he should still be the coach there.
Either way, do you sit him next year? Do you sit Brett Favre if he comes out the game, the very first game, he's playing, he's your starter, throws 3 picks and a touchdown?
You don't have anybody else back there.
Yeah, but they're going to find somebody else back there. They've got, I mean, no matter what, they have to find a second-string quarterback so that he can sit behind Brett Favre and, you know, learn from him at the very least.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that you can't learn from somebody if you're playing in front of him. That's what he's for. He's there to be Brett Favre for better or worse. If they decide to bench him halfway through next season, then they're making more bad decisions. They've made a bad decision, then you can compound it by making another bad decision. And then, oh, okay, well, we shouldn't have done that, so now we'll make a worse decision here on out and just become the Oakland Raiders.
If he's a mentor, though, and he doesn't start, does he even play? Or does he
Well,
retire?
that's where you look at Aaron Rodgers, did pretty well this year. That was from watching, because you get what he does from listening to him, mostly from watching him play.
Right.
And then you do, the one thing that I noticed is that Aaron Rodgers does all those things that Brett Favre does that are fantastic, does very little of the things that make Brett Favre bad.
There is no question that Brett Favre is a great mentor. He's a great teacher. Does he want to be a teacher, or does he want to be the showrunner? Does he want to be throwing touchdowns, or does he want to be telling somebody how to throw touchdowns?
Yeah.
So does he play? Does he say, yes, for another season in the NFL, I'll sit the bench? Does he do it, or does he say, no, I'm going home?
Well, that's the thing.
I think if he's not the starter, he's going to go home.
Well, no, yeah, obviously, but I'm saying that he's not a mentor at the sideline. This is how you do it. That's not him. You learn from watching him. That's why they brought him. Not like, okay, now you get back out there, dust yourself off. No, he's never going to do that, and he didn't do that with Aaron Rodgers. He's like, you want to be a quarterback? Watch this.
But is his heart in New York enough to want the
I think
next
he just
quarterback
wants to
there to
play.
be? Yeah, exactly.
And we'll figure out about halfway through the off season with the moves that the Jets make, whether or not he's going to be there, even before the announcement, depending on who they hire for their head coach, what free agents they pick up, which is unfortunate because I don't think there's really anything. I think that there's no plug that's going to undo the damage that the Jets did to themselves by getting rid of Chad Pennington, the franchise quarterback, the guy that if your team is healthy and if he's healthy, he puts you in the playoffs every time. And Jonathan Vilma, the leader of your defense. They got rid of those guys the same year.
Right.
And that was the heart and the soul of both sides of the ball and the whole team. They have no identity. And that's the main problem. Let's talk about teams that are in the playoffs.
Such as?
In a battle of the skies. Where flight will not be the indicator of who will win the game. Birds not of a feather flocking together this weekend.
You practiced that, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
You stood in front of the mirror.
I did not stand in front of the mirror. I was actually like having a hard time coming up with that, but no. Cardinals and Falcons. Birds of prey travel to the house of cards.
Lunchtime.
For who? For who, Shaun? Who's going to be lunchtime for?
Atlanta is going to eat the little cardinal in the house of cards.
I guess that's kind of metaphorically and probably physically how it's going to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't see Cardinals having a chance against it in that game.
If they continue to make the playoffs and they're able to get maybe to that caliber But I don't know. That division, they skated in to the playoffs by being better than 3-12, 3-13.
That was all you had
know?
to do in that division was win 4, and they managed to put together 9.
Yeah, they did well for the Cardinals this year.
Yeah.
And good for them. But
Yeah,
they're not.
Bravo.
Yeah, exactly.
They haven't made it to the playoffs since 1947.
Can they repeat? I don't know.
Yeah.
Is Kurt Warner an X factor in that game though? Because he's been an X factor in the playoffs before, and even in the Super Bowl. Is that veteran leadership? Is he going to surprise us in the playoffs?
I don't think so. I think the X factor is this man right here, and he won't play. That's why they're not going to win. That's why they collapsed in the last part of the season. You can draw a direct correlation between the Cardinals starting to lose more of the games than they're winning when they benched Edgerrin James and put Hightower in. Hightower had some explosive games right when the defense went, Edgerrin James isn't in the game, 6 defensive backs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can run against 6. Well, I can't.
Yeah.
No.
Most people can run against 6 defensive backs. I'm a bad example.
Yeah,
but
bear could chase you and you wouldn't run.
No, you're not supposed to unless it's a grizzly bear.
Okay.
I don't know what you climb a tree or something. If it's a grizzly bear, I'm
You
not sure.
can't do that either.
I could climb a smaller tree.
Run downhill.
Roll downhill. Yeah. I can roll downhill faster than a bear can run. That doesn't have anything to do with football.
Yeah, but Arizona doesn't have a defense.
Neither does Atlanta for the most part.
No, Atlanta has
don't.
a fantastic defense, and that's ridiculous. It's one of the reasons they're where they are.
Since when?
But you can't get into
John Abraham only had 13 sacks. Whoops. That didn't happen.
a shootout
Aaron
match.
Schobel had 10. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, no, they have a great defense. Matt Ryan doesn't really do anything.
It seems like a lot
Trying
of
to
people posted a lot of
outscore-
points against them.
Trying to outscore your opponent is going to be dire in
How
any
did
situation.
They beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers by holding them to more stops than Tampa Bay's fantastic defense could hold them to stops.
That's right, but Tampa Bay had a weak offense in my mind. It was their defense, but it's neither here nor there. It's in the past.
The Falcons play good defense. They run the football. That's why they're going to win, because the Cardinals don't play defense and they try to throw it everywhere. It's a mismatch. This is a game that could be 28-0, 28-3 maybe. I don't know that the Falcons are going to put up 40 because they're not that team. They spend a lot of time scoring their points, but they play defense smart and they run the football.
I agree with you on the score. I totally disagree with you on how it's going to happen. I think that you're going to see a lot of points put up in the first half. Second half, nothing is going to happen on either side of the football.
Yeah, the linebackers and the secondary for the Cardinals they have playmaking ability, so they probably will clean it up in the second half. But they're not a good defense.
Yeah. Well, Kurt Warner, shalom. You did a good job for me this season, bud.
Yeah,
No qualms with the offense. That offense is explosive.
well, no qualms with the offense other than they benched James,
right?
Which lost. I mean, they probably would have won 11 games if they wouldn't have done that. So, but whatever.
Yeah, maybe next year. Cardinals.
Can't be one-dimensional.
You can't, no. And that, a 6-rounder that, sure, he's big and fast, but puts the ball on the ground all the time. He's not the answer.
Yeah.
The evening game would be the Colts, the former team of Edgerrin James, who I might have as one of the finest running backs to ever played the game of football.
Sure.
Judging by the statistics and all those categories, top 5.
You did a good job.
Yeah. Colts and the Chargers.
I got to admit, I'm scared.
I don't like it when the Colts play the Chargers. They just match up so well against them that even a monkey could coach, and apparently does coach the Chargers. Actually, Norv's too lethargic to be a monkey even. He's like a sloth.
Throw it around, Philip.
Very depressed one. But, yeah, they have a lot of matchup problems with the San Diego Chargers. And they have a lot of matchup problems with teams that play a 3-4. Right. And the Chargers excel at playing a 3-4. Not so much the beginning of this year, but the later part of this season, the Chargers have played some pretty good defense. They won 4 straight.
Yeah.
They're hot. The Colts are the hottest team in the
San
league.
Diego.
It's in San Diego, which doesn't matter. I'd rather it be in San Diego.
Really?
Yeah, the Colts have won in San Diego more often than they've beat San Diego at home. In fact, they always, over the last 6 years, have won more away games than home games. So I have no problem with them playing at San Diego.
Then call it.
So I'm taking the Colts just because they're a much better football team.
Okay.
They're just a better football team. What do you think, Shaun?
I also think Indianapolis they are a better football team. San Diego's shown weakness throughout the year. Granted, Indianapolis started off slow, but gained momentum as the season went on. San Diego also a little bit of momentum at the end of the season, but
Yeah.
they definitely show some weakness, I think.
They might be without LaDainian Tomlinson and Antonio Gates, which doesn't really matter because they don't use those guys. And that's why they're not very good this year. Is they don't want to give the ball to their playmakers.
But if they were to use those guys, it might be a different story. I'm taking Indy because of that, and simply because of the reason that Indy, in the spot that they're in, plays better every year in the playoffs when they're the underdog, when they don't have any type of advantage.
When they have home field advantage all the way throughout, they will lose their first game.
Yeah.
It is so ridiculous.
Yep.
So how
That's just the way it is.
Peyton Manning's MVP award gonna taint his playing?
Well, when's the last time he won the? He had the split one with McNair, and they ended up winning their first. Well, they had it was LaDainian Tomlinson won 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. But he had the split one with McNair, and he did pretty well in the playoffs that year. And they ended up losing to the Titans for a third time to the other MVP. And then when he threw the 49 touchdowns, they lost in the championship game to the Patriots. So. But they got to the championship.
That's right. So. That's right. Yeah. That's right. That's the key.
It is the key.
All right. Indy across the board. So far, we're all even
Falcons.
on
We're
predictions.
picking the favorite so far.
Yeah. I don't like doing that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll mix it up.
With a blender.
Yeah. Maybe I'll throw one out there. Who cares if I'm right or wrong? Maybe I'll be right and beat you guys. Next game.
It's the Minnesota Vikings. And they're at home. That with the Ricola horn. If everyone's throats are, that's a good thing to do when you're at home. You pass out the Ricola lozenges. People yell.
It's Minnesota. It's cold. Everybody's sick up there. So
yeah, even though the stadium's indoors.
I don't think anybody has a clue what we're talking about when we do that, but they have a horn.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know they have a horn.
Philly Mini.
Yeah. So this is the story to me. This is why Minnesota doesn't have a chance. Their own fans won't go to the game. They're still on media blackout. They have not sold out a home playoff game. That's ridiculous.
No offense to anybody I know that likes Mini, but I don't know what you guys are doing as fans. Sometimes you confuse and bother me and disturb me.
Yeah, you go out of the house, you're wearing nothing but purple. You got sweatpants on in the middle of the day and the week.
And you don't know your own players.
You yell at people in a parking lot, yet it's a home playoff game and you don't show up.
No, you don't go.
It doesn't. Oh, ouch. Philadelphia, on the right day, looks like the best team in the NFL. And Minnesota's never looked like that. So even if Philly has an off day, I'm going to go with Philly.
Yeah, I'm taking Philly.
Yeah.
Philly. Donovan McNabb, he's gonna be a terror on that game, I think.
Yeah.
I think the Minnesota defense has no chance.
If they play like they did last week, though.
Yeah, really? Wow.
Yeah. There is
the heck were they doing there?
There's an off chance that Minnesota, if Adrian Peterson goes bananas in the first quarter, they've got a shot.
I got one person for you, Darnell Dawkins.
Yeah.
He's going to be
Donnie Jones. Actually, they'll probably run a spy, Donnie Jones, on it's a middle linebacker.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
Care to venture a bargain or a bet? Darnell Dawkins.
He's the down lineman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, they're both
backfield,
man.
That guy's in the backfield every time. Dare him. Adrian Peterson has nothing in the backfield. It's all breakaway speed.
Yeah.
Eating his lunch.
And they'll probably still run a spy on him with Donnie Jones because they've got confidence in Quentin Michael and Shaun Dawkins to be able to get to wherever they need to get against the strong yet inaccurate arm of Tavares Jackson.
Yeah, that's a weapon. It's a weapon for the other team.
Yeah. But no, I don't think they have a chance, even though they, on paper, are just a fantastic team. They haven't got it put together yet. They had a hard time with the B squad from the Giants last week, and that's just unacceptable.
Yeah, when you have to win because you have an awesome kicker, that's why you win. Yeah, I guess winning's winning, but Ryan Longwell won that game. Nobody else did. So, next year, though, Minnesota might be a pretty good team. We'll see.
Finns Ravens.
I'm going with Miami, I think, on this one.
Ooh,
my upset
you're going to
pick.
sneak one
I
in
am.
too, huh?
Yeah.
That is my pick.
You're going to go with the Miami Dolphins.
I like-
Why do you like the Dolphins in this one?
I don't know. I'm going from the basement.
At least you rationalize it.
Yeah.
I like that.
I just kind of want Miami to win, and I think maybe it'd be kind of a Cinderella story after last season.
It'd be pretty darn cool.
It would be cool.
I'm going to stick with Miami too, actually, believe it or not. I think that Miami's a surprise team. People that play them don't see them coming. I don't think by any means they're a good team. But for some reason, whoever plays them loses brain cells before they get off the bus, and they forget how to play simple football. I mean, just easy football. I think Baltimore's going to be like, I guess we weren't ready to play football today. That's pretty strange.
I agree with all of that, but at the same time, the Ravens aren't those guys. That's the team that plays sound football. That's the team that went into Dallas and smoked the Cowboys. Just
Yeah, but who didn't see that coming?
When you see it coming, that's the thing, is that I see it coming. The Dolphins they're fun to watch. They do all this nonsense, but no. Ravens defense. And the way that they run the football, LaRon McClain, guy's an animal. Joe Flacco, rookie, but at the same time, the head coach isn't afraid to let him just zing it, the 70 yards that he's able to throw it.
I think that's the game of the week, though. I think that's
going
to
be a good game. It's going to be a real
game,
close game.
either result.
It's very hard to predict, but
Go
the
Dolphins.
Ravens are a more solid team. We're actually a lot slower because we all had these special segments that we were going to do. So I'm bringing the most important to the forefront as we've only got about 10 minutes left. I think that we need to address the state of the Detroit Lions.
I have prepared a statement. It is not too long and arduous, but please bear with me as I proceed. 0-16. Ouchie. Well, can't get any worse, right? Wrong. Back-to-back 0-16 seasons is much worse. Or the collapse of one of the league's oldest and most historic franchises is much, much worse. This is the state of the Lions. So, Rod Marinelli is out, fired, gone, great. Wrong-ish. He did need to go. He has cankles. Nobody respects cankles.
No, they don't.
No. The Lions players are a bunch of slackers.
Well, they are.
They're a bunch of do-nothings, and they need a coach that demands respect. For instance, Mike Singletary. Mike Singletary gets respect. They need something like that. These guys need to be slapped around and then somebody to lead them. Rod wasn't it. But hiring a new coach isn't going to solve anything, unfortunately, gentlemen. This week, the team promoted Tom Lewin to president and kept Martin Mayhew as general manager. They still have the same front office.
Oh.
Lewin and Mayhew were part of 0-16 too. They were part of the front office of the Lions that went 31-97 since 2001.
Oh,
Yeah, it's terrible. It's actually the worst 8-year stretch in NFL history since World War II, when there was 4 teams. Mayhew was quoted Tuesday about the change. My role in the organization now will be implementing my plan. My role before was implementing somebody else's plan. Oh, great. So this whole time you thought that somebody else might do better than you, but now you think you've got the stuff to turn the team around. No, I don't think so. We all know that Miami's the turnaround team of the year. Great. That's where people are getting their argument about the Lions. Maybe they're going to turn it around. 1-15 last year, 11-5 this year in division winning. Great. Good for them. The Dolphins knew what they were doing. They got Bill Parcells to do the job. And they didn't just give the job to Bill Parcells. They said, Bill Parcells, you do everything. You're the guy. Here's the checkbook. You do what you want. So, in my mind, a new coach isn't going to do it. Lewin and Mayhew must be replaced by a Bill Parcells-type manager. But then what? Maybe that'll fix it. Maybe not. The very problem with the Lions may be Detroit itself. The town is a dump. In 2006, it had the 6th highest violent crimes in the nation. And it's still pretty small. It's only 1 million people, believe it or not, the actual Metro Detroit. It's pretty small, high per capita violent crimes. You want to get stabbed, you go to Detroit. And don't forget about their economic meltdown with the big three. Economy's not good.
Is it even going to be Ford
Yeah,
Field
is it going
next
to be
year?
Ford Field? Can you get talented people to come to Detroit that have big other offers in nice places that aren't cold, poor, and crime-ridden with a team that's terrible? Who wants that job, really? So Detroit's future is bleak, I'm afraid. There's little hope that this is the turnaround point. Yes, they don't have to do much to be better than this year. But with no changes in the front office and perhaps the inability to hire anybody good, expect to see the same mistakes take place next year and perhaps the next 10 years. And if so, how long can the Detroit Lions franchise exist? Perhaps it is doomed and the NFL will lose an important piece of its heritage. That's the state of the Lions.
So where do the Lions need to move?
The Lions need to. Well,
Like
they don't
Omaha
need to
or
move.
something?
There's nothing that they can do. Unfortunately, they're pigeonholed by a city that's hurt. You know, it's a hurting city.
The Pistons did it. The Pistons won a championship.
That's
They got guys in there.
basketball.
I know, but look at the guys they got in there. They got guys that were shooting people before they were playing basketball.
Yeah,
You just need to get those guys. I think that Mike Doss is available at safety. That's why he's not at the Colts anymore. He went into a club, shot the place up.
I'm just saying that you can't get players and talent in there. They've been trying players and talent for the last 10 years and coaches. And I mean, it's a revolving door. They have five quarterbacks on their roster right now, and none of them are playing football. It has nothing to do with talent. It has to do with making good decisions and consistency.
And
they got to get
not
rid of
getting-
those guys that
yeah.
don't believe in that system.
Yeah, the owner needs to axe everybody. Just burn the whole thing and start over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would keep either of those guys in the front office. That's obviously where the problem is. They've turned it into a place that you cannot play and get money.
It wasn't Martz. It wasn't Millen.
Obviously, Martz.
It's not Marinelli.
I can put my
It's
finger
not
on.
Kitna. It's just those guys running a terrible program. It's a terrible program.
Actually put my finger on the firing of Mike Martz as the actual worst decision that they made in the offseason last year. That would have been the thing that would have got them 1 or 2 wins, a little bit of better offense in the first half. They were scoring, but they were scoring in the second when it didn't matter.
Right, exactly. No, sorry, Detroit. You very well could do it 2 times.
Yeah.
Which would be another record,
It'd be another record.
Another record.
which is something. So silver
Yeah, I
lining,
guess they're
silver
putting
lining.
themselves in the books still. They're still historic. Yay.
Yeah.
Eh. Go ahead.
No, I'm going to allow you to do your farewell to a beloved Mike Shanahan.
Yeah, it's a cold day in Mile High, cold week-ish.
Chilly.
Yeah, the face of the Broncos is no more. Mike Shanahan, after 14 years, has been fired, let go by the Denver Broncos. A very good coach, 146 and 91 overall, 2 Super Bowls, has only had 2 losing seasons in 14 years. Why? Denver expects a lot from their football teams.
Fans are tough.
And I don't know why they do, because before him they didn't win any. They lost Super Bowls horrendously.
Yeah,
Just
lost 3 Super Bowls.
horrendously losing Super Bowls. And they were underachievers before he showed up. And
That's
now
right.
they're going to get better than
You know,
the best that they've ever
Shan-
been.
Shanahan turned that place into a running back farm
Yeah.
for the NFL.
he turned Elway into somebody.
Yeah,
Yeah, John Elway really wasn't very
Yeah.
good.
And everybody's putting it on, oh, well, they haven't won a Super Bowl since Elway. They didn't win a Super Bowl before Shanahan.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
right. Yeah, so Mike Shanahan, sad day. Hope you find a good job.
Yeah,
or
no,
retire.
or retire. You know,
14
take
seasons is a long time.
yeah.
He's still young.
Take
though.
your
He's
paycheck
still
in your
young.
house.
He's
and-
loaded.
He's loaded. If I
Doesn't
was
have to work
him,
anymore.
I would find a place to coach that plays Denver twice a year and
Yeah.
just hand it to him.
Beat the snot out of him.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't. The only place really left for him is Kansas City, but I don't think they're going to fire Edwards, which is probably the best move for them not to fire Edwards.
Right.
Especially because they did show signs of improvement at the end of the season, but it would be nice for him to go in there and just lay it down on Denver, because that's what he did to the Oakland Raiders. He just laid it down to the
Yeah.
Raiders for a long time. But
Good luck, Shanny.
next week we're going to have to wait for next week for the The all-hef team.
The all-hef team.
The all-hef team. We'll go over the MVPs and all that next week as well. We're out of time. For Sean Whitney and Justin Throngard, I am Sam Heflin.
Go Colts.
Go Colts.
Go
Thank you.
Shanahan.
Go Shanahan.
Go Shanahan. Thank you and good night. Defensive tackle, DeMonte